Welcome, Sabina.
Ciao,
we are
Federica.
here for the local artist is present, 9. It's the 9th episode, and now we chat with Sabina. Sabina Bonfanti is an inventive visual designer and architect, and she creates fantastic accrochage and installation for home interiors, for restaurant, for exhibition, temporary exhibition. And she lives in Trieste.
Yes, it's true.
And near in his studio, non-studio, he's in Via San Michele. And now we are in Piazza Ortis, in Piazza Ortis garden, in the center of Cavana, all the whole part of Città Vecchia. And we are here sitting on the balls,
balls.
Because this tree is a ginkgo biloba tree, and ginkgo biloba have this unique leaf. Very particular leaf, and this ginkgo biloba leaf is a farm of Sabina Bonfanti studio, non-studio, and this is the origin of your research about nature, about object. Where does your work on visual design and ephemeral installation come from?
I trained myself in architecture in Venice. And in the meanwhile, I was very curious about all the craftsmanship atelier and different ways artisans brought life to objects. And I understood very soon that, to me, architecture was not something concerned with form more than atmosphere and sensation we have. So later I found the big master for me, who's Peter Zumthor, and he
fantastic!
The big master,
the big master,
real poetical man, and he says something to me is very important, and it's not so common in the approach to architecture in Italy, which is that spaces are made more from light and shadows and smells and sensation more than form. It's easier to work than on forms, and places are made for people, for feelings of people. So with this approach I really needed to search something else apart from architecture, and I've always been very keen about art and contemporary art, and exploring that kind of work about metaphors and concept. I found that it's easier to dialogue with people about metaphors and then express them in forms. It's you have a sort of trainee in this kind of research. I discovered myself being very much keen on ephemeral work and funny work like exhibits, because in an exhibit you have to make people play, like being seated on a sphere instead of
as a playground.
To me, life is a big playground. So this was the main reason I prefer to work on temporary works than having the problem being monumental and eternal, which is not something human. And that's it.
Okay.
So from there, I think in your work you just grow up and find your way somehow. Design is a sort of open space where you can put your any kind of research if you feel.
Okay, your skill, your
skill, or your really your. It's not nice
your
talking about
passion,
talents,
your
but
talent.
it's easier
Yeah.
to talk about passions. yeah.
Okay. And tell me, what's the way you see the nature, the flowers? For example, I see these. Which are the natural elements, materials, themes, paper, fabric you often use to draw, to create accrochage, pattern, or installation?
Many of them. I think when you have an atelier, the big freedom you get is that you have a sort of big amount of ingredients you can put on and just enlarge them, mold them, make them small. And for me, one big part of my ingredients are the observation of nature. That's why I'm really keen about this tree, because it's a fossil tree and it comes very similar to how primitive trees were.
Oh.
And just to give an example, when you look at this leaf, it's really made because the leaf doesn't have to lose any kind of water, so it starts from one point and then extends itself, like being, the simplest and most elegant way of growing. And if you observe the leaf and the thickness and the way it divides and it grows and it changes color, because ginkgo biloba became very yellow in autumn, you just have a concept itself. So you keep it and then you use it when you want to have this kind of sensation. It's a sort of and on the same way, you just understand the way nature brings things together, so having leaf attached to the tree, then you study everything and everything combines in your mind and in your hands, and you try to reproduce some kind of relationship, because nature is all about formal relationships, and that's
and consistency
and texture and just sensorial. Nature is totally sensorial.
Okay. This reminds me certain curtains.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
And your approach to your project of interior decoration as a playground, and with a sort of playful, joyful attitude. When I visited your studio, I smelled this, I rest on this, and your strange maquette look like scenographies.
They do, because I've learned. When you work, you learn on creative fields. You really learn a lot of things about people. And being playful is something that's really missing in our society, according to me. And it's the best way to approach people. So when you play yourself and you leave others play, you get the best energy and the best creativity in people. So in these big rendering computer-aided projects, when you bring to the client one maquette, the client himself is getting, wow, this is the space, I can touch it, I can feel it.
Yes.
And you start working with the clients in a different way. From that energy, I guess, I brought my attitude to produce some kind of objects, and I like objects be very free in use. For me, this you can hang it, you can wear it, you can
it's wearable.
Launch it, or it's a piece of. So you can combine them, you can use them in a small space, in a big space, and people who use objects need to be free to play with them, not being, according to me, not being, adoring the single object. Everything is growing and changing, and this kind of life is important to bring to project.
And this object installation that you create are completely handmade.
Completely handmade, because this is you asked me before where I come from somehow, and when you work on exhibits, frequently you don't find what you need to give that special sensation, so you need to create them by yourself. So I just put it together, all the knowledge I got from craftsmen, and started to realize some parts of the exhibits, and then I found the place, and everything started to work on its own. I know, I'm just observing what's working, what's going on with my work.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay. And the last curiosity and question: how important still is it for you the lesson of Bruno Munari lesson?
Bruno Munari has been my first love. I think he was a complete genius. I knew him, and I worked here in Trieste with Gruppo Immagine, who is explaining the work of Bruno Munari. And apart from his vision, what really was important for me is that he was a big master of creativity. In the last part of his life, he worked a lot on how to teach creativity to kids, children. And this is something that's really important for me, because I love the light in people when they just got the sense of creativity and changing the things. So I made a lot of laboratories to teach this kind of skills, because they are skills. Anybody of us can be very creative if you know some techniques.
Okay.
And Bruno Munari is the best.
Okay. And in your own experience, do you think it's easy or not to bring art into the industry, into the marketing area? Or
this is an interesting question. I think you have to be brave.
Yeah.
Everything. Every time you project, you need to be brave. Not to be violent, but to be brave. So I learned you can bring anything in any place if you just are quite passionate about that. And I think that art has a lot to teach as a freedom and as an attitude to all the environments and work spaces. So I guess we have to work a lot about this.
Okay. Thank you, Sabina.
Thank you, Federica.
It's a pleasure, and enjoy this. Enjoy this.
Now everybody
this
is
area.
To jump on a balloon.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Betta first.
Okay.
Ciao, grazie.
Ciao.
Ciao.